Hi guys, I hope you all are doing well. And I just randomly decided that I need to make a Halloween special video. Although I have no idea what I'm gonna do in this video, but I just decided that it was needed. Although no one cares and no one asked, but yeah. So today we're not gonna discuss any conspiracy theory, as such. I swear I'm not running out of ideas. I have a lot of video planned, but I just decided to have a little chill type video this Halloween. Maybe next Halloween we'll work on something more constructive. Today I'm gonna basically read you stories, and I'm reading this off Reddit, and I don't have an account over there, or like I don't use it very often, but like I sometimes go and read over there. So I will read you some stories, and I'm reading this for the first time. I have not read it earlier, these stories, so the reaction is pretty much raw, if that makes sense. So I'll start with the first one. The name of the person who has written this is You Shall Not Pass 121. The Boy with the Half Finished Face is the name of the story. Quite chilly if you ask me. So the story starts off that the boy with the half finished face, that's what they called him. He had a name though. It was Marcus, and he was my friend. I first met Marcus when I was 14, and despite his grotesque appearance, I liked him immediately. Once you got to know him, he was nice, timid, harmless really. Most importantly, though, he was nice to me. My parents were killed the year prior, and I was bullied mercilessly for it. Marcus understood though. He sympathized with me because he didn't have any parents either. He had no one. No one knew where he came from. He just appeared one day with his half unfinished face, constantly oozing matter. He surprised us all, repulsed us all. To tell you the truth, when I first laid eyes on him, I had nightmares for days. It's quite difficult finding the words to describe Marcus's face, and I squirm at the thought of having to recall what he looked like. His face was misshapen, bulbous and bloated, like he'd been submerged in water for weeks. All his features were stunted, like he'd not grown properly in the womb, and his eyes were red raw slits, like they've been cut open crudely with a butter knife. His nose was skeletal, funny, and his nostrils were barely open. I used to wonder how he breathed properly. His mouth was the most terrifying thing of all. His bottom lip drooped awkwardly, like it wasn't attached, and his top lip didn't exist at all. It exposed all his gnarly, rotting teeth. He used to always ooze this liquid substance from his mouth, the color of rust. No one ever knew what it was, and none of us wanted to ask. After a while, you got used to it though. I did anyway, and he became one of my best friends for a while at least, until that thing happened on that horrible night. Okay, so this is about to escalate. When Marcus did the unspeakable, when he did something I'd never thought he would do. But then, when do you ever truly know someone? For the longest time, I thought I knew him. I always sensed a darkness in him though, a deep, unfathomable wickedness that I guess came with having a half-finished face. The night that it happened was like any other night. My foster parents were out and I was in bed when I heard a creaking noise on the stairs, like someone was ascending, very slowly. I got out of the bed and I opened my bedroom door slowly, and that was when I saw the same familiar rusty liquid. Marcus was here. I recoiled when I saw his face. It was finished, complete. The thing that made me throw up was the smell of decayed corpse. Marcus's face was a mixture of my dead mom and my dead dad. And he said, I just wanted to see your family again. So we'll move on to the next story. This is written by Amar Badrul. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. The name of it is called as Classmate. So this story begins as Jack started as a joke among us. When our dear classmate Reynold, Ray for short, moved out of town at the start of the high school, we pretended Ray had been replaced by a new student called Jack. We kept Ray's desk empty and pretended it was Jack's. Since then, Jack had been constant entertainment for us in all kind of situation. When someone accidentally fell off his chair, we would jokingly blame it on Jack for pulling the chair and we will laugh about it. When someone cracked about a bad joke and nobody laughed, we would joke and say, hey, at least Jack laughed. The joke went on and escalated upon to a point where we all agreed to draw portraits of Jack in art class. For a good 10 minutes, we sat and drew Jack's portrait for our imagination, all the while pretending we can actually see Jack sitting at his desk, laughing and scolding him for not still sitting still until Heyday suddenly shot up and shouted, finished. We all came together to take a look at his finished portrait of Jack. From what we saw, Hayden is obviously an untalented artist. His portrait of Jack was simple as a portrait can be. Two black dots for eyes, a triangular nose, and a stupidly wide grin across the rugby-shaped face. According to Hayden's interpretation, Jack had no eyebrows, no ears, and little to no hair. In short, it looks like a badly drawn character by a 7-year-old. Hey man, that's awesome. It looks exactly like Jack. Robert was the first to jokingly compliment Hayden's drawing. We all then joined in the jest and praised Hayden for his accurate portrait. Since then, it's decided how Jack looks like, and we hung the portrait proudly at the back of the classroom. Until one morning, we all came into the class together and saw a curious figure sitting at Jack's seat. It was an especially dark morning. It wasn't raining, but it was too cloudy for us to see the figure clearly. Upon flicking on the lights, we all fell silent. The figure sitting in Jack's seat was none other than Jack, his face the exact copy of Hayden's drawing. We didn't move an inch until the teacher came and scolded us. Then we all shuffled to our seats, trembling. Thud. Jack pulled Hayden's chair and he fell to the floor. Jack laughed and laughed with a voice so throaty and horrendous it immediately made our faces crumpled in fear. Some were even in tears, but the teacher didn't seem to take notice. It struck us only those who played along with the joke can see and hear him. That day we learned to never pretend that someone is real when they are not. But it's too late. Jack is now real and he never left his seat. He was there when class ended and he was there to greet us in the morning. He's our classmate now. So the third story which I'm gonna read, which is short story 1. That's the name of the person who has written it, and the title is I am so happy and relieved that I received a death threat letter. Okay, that's scary. You know, a couple of months ago, I received a life threat letter, and this is what the life threat letter read as follows. I'm going to bring you back to life where you will be forced to pay for bills constantly. Bills like water bills, electricity bills, energy bills, food bills, rent bills, and bills just to stay alive. I will force you back to life where you will be drowning in debts with bills. As I read, I couldn't believe that I was dead because only people that are alive receive death threats, and so logically people that are dead must receive life threats. To be forced back into life where I must do all of the things living people do was nauseating and made me tremble. Why would this stranger be so cruel and bring me back to life and back into the rat race? Then I received another life letter threat, and it read as follows. I'm going to bring you back to life where you will be forced to get a soulless job that you will hate, where will work with a terrible manager and with equally depressed but nice co-workers because they too will be in the same situation as you. You will get up in the morning feeling like weights are on top of your body. You will be dreading all of the times you are on your days off as you will be constantly worrying about work. The commute to work and back will be just as horrible. I will enjoy bringing you back to life. I started to shout and cry at the thought of being back to life. Why would this horrid person do such a thing to me? Why can't he let me rest in peace? Then another life threat letter came to me and it read, I will bring you back to life and you will be among shallow and fake people. You will go to the parties that will increase your anxiety and you will be among people who will force and pressure you to live a certain way of life. They will make you feel horrible about yourself. I couldn't take it anymore and I was trapped. Then at the last minute, this person sent me another letter which read,
Sorry, I accidentally sent you a life threat letter and it was supposed to be a death threat letter. I'm going to murder you and then feed you to the dogs. I was relieved and happy that instead of this person bringing me back to the rat race of life, he's instant going to help me with escape it. Okay, that's actually a very out of all the stories, I can say I liked this one because it was kind of different. The plot was different altogether, and in the end, there was a different plot, so it was interesting to read. So, there you go, guys. This was the last story which I read.